It's time for another W12 live market episode. Today, I'm looking at a very nice Bentayga. It's perhaps pretty close to how I would spec it options-wise, but perhaps not color-wise. We're looking at a 2017 Bentley Bentayga W12 in Onyx and Beluga. It has just under 38,000 miles and the asking price is $111,000 even. It's currently listed on Facebook Marketplace and cloud9motors.com. The spec is delicious and it makes it among the best Bentaygas I've seen on the market. The price breakdown looks something like this. And take this with a grain of salt because Bentley options are like a mile long, much like Rolls-Royce. Pricing and full options aren't exactly published public knowledge, but this should be within a stone's throw of the sticker price. This particular Bentayga has the delicious first edition package, which adds $68,300 to the base price. 4-seat comfort specification for first edition, which is $7,425, and Bentley rear entertainment for $7,155. The 2017 W12 Bentayga started with a base MSRP of $229,100, plus add the $2,725 destination charge, and it brings the total sticker price to $314,705. The first edition was also limited to 608 pieces worldwide, one for each of the metric horsepower that the W12 engine produces. 75 were sent to the US in total, and all 75 sold out almost immediately after being announced. Now, Bentley does things differently, and the Bentayga, even though it has more in common with the Q7 and Touareg than I would care for, it still earns the Flying Bee mascot. For the first edition package, one of the coolest factors is that each included one of 3 Bentayga-inspired Breitling wristwatches. One of the models was called the Emergency 2, and within the case exists a pin that, once removed, instantly sends a signal to rescue services from virtually any location in the world. The other models were the Cockpit B50 and the Women's Chronomat 38. All of them have hands color matched to the livery of the press car from the reveal, and the strap matches elements found within the interior of the Bentayga. And the watches in all this $68,000 package includes. The list is long to set this apart from the standard Bentayga. Buyers selected from 10 first edition only paint finishes on the outside and bespoke contrast stitching and quilted interior on the inside. There is also ambient lighting, special finish for the 22-inch wheels, the Union flag on the doors, and a brushed stainless steel Union flag that is less than 1/10 of a millimeter thick inset into the wood veneer on the dash. Then a host of options tied in, like the very cool event specification, a quilted leather bench seat that folds out from the tailgate, rear picnic tables, the all-terrain touring and city specifications, veneer, sunshine, and smoker specifications, as well as the name audio system. The introduction of the Bentayga brought with it the third generation of the W12, for the first time using dual injection, a crankcase that is 30% stronger, and cylinders that are coated using atmospheric plasma spray. The Bentley version has always employed 2 turbos, and this remained the case. They are highly tunable and also run underrated from the factory. Starting with the published 600 horsepower and 660 pound-foot of torque, dynos show it to produce more around 700 pound-foot, which can be bumped to 800 with an off-the-shelf flash. And Mansory offers a kit that gives it over 900 pound-feet of torque. Real-world stock 0 to 60 is pretty crazy 3.5 seconds as tested by Car and Driver. I'm probably a broken record at this point, but the W12 is a very stout piece of hardware and the 3rd gen only builds on this. As for the rest of the car, like it or not, the foundation of the car is the Audi Q7. What this hurts is the bespoke feeling of the Bentayga. Where this helps is reliability and platform knowledge. The curtain of mystery on the relatively low volume Bentayga is lifted by the mass-produced Q7. Some bugs from the infotainment exist, and the gigantic brakes that are 440 millimeters front were the largest in the world at the time, and they're surely on the pricey side to replace. The complication of the turbo W12 was increased over the Audi and VW versions. The 3rd gen in particular has 3 coolant pumps and 3 coolant circuits, so it might be a good idea to cough up the cash for a Bentley specialist shop if and when the engine needs some love. Now, here's my thoughts on this specific Bentayga based on the ad. As always, do your own due diligence. This Bentayga has a very interesting beginning of its life according to the Carfax. It's a wild guess of mine, but maybe it was a personal car to Joe Perillo of the Perillo Auto Group fame, but take that with a grain of salt. The ownership history is really odd in the first half. It was an allocation to Bentley Gold Coast, but registered as a corporate car in Pennsylvania where it did exactly no miles, while continuing to be serviced at Perillo Group dealers in the Chicagoland area and listed as dealer inventory. A year later, it moved to personal ownership with Illinois registration. Then several months after that, still with less than 2,000 miles, it went to auction where it was purchased by a Perillo dealer, yet registered in New Jersey, then in Illinois 30 miles later, then Wisconsin 50 miles later, all while being serviced with Perillo dealers and being listed as inventory. Finally, after about 2.5 years and 4,075 miles and inexplicably passing a New York emissions inspection, it changed hands again, but this time some miles began to be put on it. It was registered in New York and Alabama, but often serviced in North Carolina as well. It looks like it was traded into Bentley of Alpharetta, where they sent it to auction with about 37,000 miles, and Grand Motor Cars of Kennesaw, Georgia picked it up, and now, after all of this back and forth, it's being offered for sale by Cloud9 with 37,626 miles. Going through the photos, the temp tag is weird to see. I didn't know temp tags were given to dealer trade inventory, yet here we are. And they didn't even take the dealer's plate off underneath that they bought it from. The pictures are also particularly dreadful, as some of them are screenshots from an OfferUp listing. Now I have to just mention this very quickly. What is up with that? Why is that a thing? Why do people post screenshots of a listing from another listing? It's like an epidemic, and I do not understand it for the life of me. Presumably you took the pictures and you posted them. Why not use the original pictures that you have? And maybe you deleted them, but why not just crop the screenshot? It's the weirdest and most lazy thing I've ever seen, but it's the case with so many listings on Facebook Marketplace, at least. Anyway, this is a mix of original photos and screenshots, but I digress. The interior looks good in the photos, but then again, I don't trust the pics because we've also got some pictures that are outside and some that are inside, so who knows when the indoor ones were even taken. If you're in the market for a rare W12 Bentayga, I can't say I would run headlong into this one, but I still think it's worth checking out, as it's one of the highest option I've seen in a while, and it's not like it hasn't seen regular service, and it does look quite clean from what we can see, not so much as a speck of curb rash on the wheels. The price, however, is dear. It's of course difficult to find a first edition for sale, and this is an excellent spec with good miles, but there's not a ton of value in this price, since similar miles can be found for less, and much of the first edition standard kit could be added to the regular Bentayga. It's possible to find one option practically the same, just without the small optical changes and cachet of knowing you're piloting a 1 of 608 worldwide. Thanks for watching.